Good morning, boys and girls. Um, so yesterday we were talking about Alexia and going through some of her character traits. Okay, and I read a little part about Alexia there. So now we're on to the month of December. So the girl drama sounds like it's in full force, and now we're on to December. So on to the character of Peter. Last month, Mr. T told us we had to read some stupid book and go spend some time with the retards. Remember, we don't say that word. That was what I thought at first, anyways. That was what I had always thought. The collaborative classroom was where these kids went to school. I guess it was James who made me change my mind. I mean, the Summer of the Swans is okay, sort of, but the collaborative classroom wasn't what I thought at all. The kids were actually pretty cool, especially James. Something spilled on the floor, or if there was a bunch of objects spread out on the table, he could tell you how many there were just by looking at them. I mean, he could tell you immediately, no counting required. No matter how many there were, 312 forks, 813 Legos, he always got it right. And James was kind of cool to hang out with. He gave me low fives, not high fives, because eye contact was tough for him, and we played games. I liked going to see him. So I liked Mr. T's next idea. He never ran out of ideas. Okay, guys, here's the deal, he told us in December. We're going to have a holiday party like every other class, but it's going to be different. Of course, I blurted out. That's no surprise. I do that sometimes, open my mouth before thinking. A lot of times, actually. Everybody, even Mr. T, cracked a smile because I was right. You'll form small groups and work to create a center focused on a certain holiday. It might be Christmas, Ramadan, Kwanzaa, or Hanukkah. Mr. T kept going with the directions. But I didn't catch most of it. I was thinking, then I did the blurt out thing again. Mr. T, can we invite James and his friends to our party? Everyone was quiet and looked at me. I guess they were surprised, huh? Then Jessica said, That's a great idea. And the rest of the class agreed. Mr. T had a smile stretched across his face. He just nodded. And I thought I saw him white at his eyes. I don't know why he did that, though. Jessica, Act 4, Scene 1. And in this one, she has 6 scenes. All right, here we go, Jessica from California. Act 4, Scene 1. I chose Ramadan as my holiday. I wanted to research something knew very little about. I ended up in a group with Anna, Danielle, Jeffrey, and Alexia. Alexia wanted to be with Katie, Wendy, Natalie, and Heather, but Mr. Turrup didn't go for that. If he was looking for trouble, he got it. Our task was clear. When Mr. Turrup announced the project, he said, Your centers will need to include a research component, a game, an arts and crafts activity, and food. Your center will need to operate all by itself because you'll be visiting the other centers when people come to visit yours. My group started thinking about who could do what, but Alexia didn't let that go on too long. Like, you need to do the research, Jessica, because, like, you're the smartest. Anna's too stupid to read that stuff. Anna stared at the floor. She used to do that a lot, but not as much these days. It wasn't just her head that went down this time. Her entire body sagged after Alexia's nasty comment. Alexia looked at Jeffrey next, but she didn't have the nerve to say anything. Then she smiled at me and Danielle. She got nothing in return, but I could see Danielle half smiling. So what would give her the power would be if they smiled and laughed, but they didn't. Jeffrey and I collaborated on the research while Anna and Danielle were in charge of designing the arts and crafts activity. I wanted to work with Jeffrey. I had shared my secret with him, and he needed another chance to share his with me. We still don't know. Anna and Danielle had done fine together with the plants, so I knew they'd work well together this time. Plus, I hoped Danielle would become friends with Anna despite her grandmother's warnings. Lexia named herself as our group manager. According to her, she was responsible for overseeing all of our work. Or as she put it, like I'll just watch and make sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. I'll be like, our manager. I think she meant boss. We went along with Alexia's grand plan because it was easier not to have her involved in all of our tasks. But this wasn't good enough for Alexia. No, she tried her best to get everyone mad at each other. That's what she was all about. Act 4, scene 2. One day during project time, I was meeting with Jeffrey and Anna, discussing how to put our center together. Danielle was nearby, organizing the arts and crafts materials that she and Anna had been working tirelessly to create. Then Alexia made her move. Like, don't you guys think Danielle should be in charge of like the food? Alexia said loud enough for Danielle to hear. I braced myself for what was coming next. I mean, just look at her. Like, she's so fat. She must be good with food. Danielle hurried out of the room. None of us said or did anything. It was as if we thought pretending nothing had happened would make everything better. It didn't. My turn to be hurt came next. Alexia didn't spare me. So we call that being a bystander, when you just sit there and let someone be mean. Act 4, scene 3. Here we go. Let's see what Alexia does. Jeffrey and I decided that making a trivia game about Ramadan was the perfect way for people to learn about our holiday and what we'd researched. It took loads of work. We had just finished writing all of our research as questions on the trivia card. Enter Alexia. She must have just come from the bathroom. She wore fresh, shiny lip gloss and chewed on a new piece of gum. She paraded over to us with an exaggerated hip motion in her jean skirt and zebra tights, bent down and grabbed some of the trivia cards. She looked them over, but I don't think she read any of them. She snapped her gum that she wasn't supposed to have. Like, nobody understands these questions. She stared right at me. Nobody ever understands you. Not with all your stuck up words like you just want to make everyone else feel stupid. You think you're so smart. She flicked a card at me. That wasn't true. I didn't try to do that. Act 4, scene 4. Enter Mr. Turrupt. Alexia. I looked up. I didn't even know he was there. Alexia didn't either. She spun around, alarmed. I think it's time for you to follow me. He escorted her out of the room. They were gone for a while. Act 4, scene 5. Enter Mr. Turrupt without Alexia. Where was she? I need to talk to the 4 of you now, he said, looking at Jeffrey, Danielle, Anna, and me. We sat down in our project area. I've watched Alexia be unpleasant to all of you. I hope that one of you is going to stand up to her and tell her to stop. You didn't. I looked down. I knew I should have done something. I wasn't strong like the friends in my books. If you let people get away with being mean, they're going to keep being mean. You need to stick up for each other. Even Alexia isn't tough enough to make fun of you, not if all 4 of you stick together. I could feel Mr. Turrup's eyes on me. He leaned forward, trying to peer up into my face. He tried to make eye contact with each of us. We all stared down at the floor. You should be disappointed, he said. You should stand up, stand by each other. That's what being friends is all about. Still, we sat quiet. Anna wiped her eyes, so did Danielle. Don't sit and pout, Mr. Turrup said. That won't help anything. You need to keep working. Learn from this and don't make the same mistake again. Exit, Mr. Turrup. Act 4, scene 6. What was Jeffrey thinking? I wondered. What were Danielle and Anna feeling? I'm never talking to Alexia again, Danielle said. Me neither, Anna added. That's no better, I said. We don't have to be friends with her, but we can't shut her out. We have to be bigger people. I looked down again. I felt as disappointed in myself as Mr. Turrup did in all of us. I was not brave enough. All right, that's the reading for today. And next readings will be Luke. Let's see his take on this whole thing. I guess he's in a different group. All right, take care.